And I want to tell you this story because I think it's the story that so many of you are living right now. You know what you need to do, you start strong, and then life happens, and the protocol falls apart, and you blame yourself. I did too, until I learned the lesson that I'm going to teach you today. I need to tell you about the moment my functional medicine doctor looked at me across her desk and said, "Mold is showing up everywhere in your blood work. I need you to take 90 days and prioritize you as the priority so we can finish this project." And I'm going to share with you why those words, prioritize you, broke me open in a way I didn't expect. Hi, my name is Dr. Shivani Gupta, and I have a PhD in turmeric research. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. I help women heal from chronic inflammation every single day. And last fall, I completely failed at my own health protocol. Not because I didn't know what to do, but because I tried to do too much. And I want to tell you this story because I think it's the story that so many of you are living right now. You know what you need to do, you start strong, and then life happens, and the protocol falls apart, and you blame yourself. I did too, until I learned the lesson that I'm going to teach you today. So first, let me back up to last fall, September 2025. We had just finished a massive mold remediation on our house. It was months of work, thousands of dollars. The house was finally clear. And I thought, okay, now it's time to handle the mold in my body. I'm going to do this. So I went to my functional medicine doctor. We ran a bunch of tests, and the results came back showing mold everywhere, like high levels of mold. And I was actually hoping that it would go away magically once the house was remediated. I was like, mold gone from house. Body is so healthy and strong. My body will clear it. It'll be fine. But it didn't. It didn't clear it away. And that's why my functional medicine doctor was like, let me test and show you that the mold is still here. So you know that we have to embark on this project. So she gave me a protocol. It was a mold detox protocol focused on filling up my body to address all my nutrient deficiencies, and many nutrient deficiencies caused by having mold battling inside of you anyway. But the problem is, it was 20 supplements. I had to take them 4 or 5 times a day. It was pre-breakfast, with lunch, afternoon, evening, before bed. And I looked at this list and I thought, this is a lot. But I'm committed. I can do this. I know I can do it. I'll get to it. And so week 1, I tried. I really tried. I set alarms on my phone. I organized all these bottles on my counter. I was stopping 4 or 5 times a day by that counter to take those supplements. And my schedule at that time was insane. My book launch was in full swing. I had up to 5 hours of podcast interviews per day where I was sitting right here teaching and teaching. I had so much travel, flying around to do podcast interviews in LA and all over. I had my full office days with my team. I had my kids' schedule of travel soccer, and theater and singing and all the things they do without a nanny because they don't want a nanny. They want just me. Kind of liked it better when they liked having a nanny with them. They want only me now. And it was just me trying to hold it all together, like doing the 100 things we all do, right? And by the end of week 1, I gave up, not on 1 or 2 of those supplements, but on all of it, because it was just too much. I couldn't maintain it. The timing was too complex. The volume was overwhelming. The mental load of remembering what to take, when, was more than what I had a capacity for. So I just took the one thing I loved the most. I took turmeric gold, which is my favorite. It's the supplement I never skip because I invented it and I love it and I know how epic it is. But I felt like a total failure because here I am, a PhD in turmeric and inflammation research, an Ayurvedic practitioner, someone who helps women heal for a living, and I couldn't follow my own protocol. I told myself, it's fine. Spring will come. I'll pick this back up when the book launch is over, when life calms down. But life doesn't calm down, does it? Like, is it ever chill? So let me tell you a story. Let me tell you about Maria, a client who I have had for about 2 years now. Or I actually had her 2 years ago. She graduated pretty fast because she's epic and became a good friend. So Maria is the person, and she's the reason why I finally understood what I was doing wrong. Maria came to me with gut issues. She found me because she had bloating, she had pain, she had this irregular digestion that had been going on for years since the pandemic. She had anxiety, the kind of anxiety that makes you feel like you're never quite settled, never quite grounded. And so I looked at her and I knew immediately. I was like, she's a Vata. She's a high Vata person. So all that movement, all that instability, all that dryness was creating what we call in Ayurveda classic Vata imbalance, like really classic from the books person who was like classic Vata. And so I gave her a protocol: tongue scraping every morning, dry brushing before her shower, abhyang self-massage with warm oil, ginger lemon tea in the morning to ignite her Agni, her digestive fire, deep sleep tea before bed, and sleep hygiene rituals from Ayurveda. Having a consistent bedtime, super important for my Vata crowd. Warm, grounding foods. No cold, raw, or dry foods because of her body type. And she did it. She did everything I said every single day. And within 2 or 3 weeks, she came back to me and she said her gut was healing, her anxiety was calming, her skin had improved, her skin was glowing. She was so happy with how beautiful her skin looked. And she was really excited. She wanted to go deeper. She wanted to customize everything for her elemental design. She wanted more Ayurvedic practices, more rituals, more tools. And 6 months later, Maria looked like a different person. Her gut was healed, her energy was back, her singing voice, which she thought she'd lost, came back. She was performing on stage again, doing the thing that she loved the most in the world. Her skin was vibrant and glowing. She would come over to my house and be like, check out my skin. Look at what's happening here. And I'm like, oh my God, like she looked younger than I did. And she's, I think, a good 15 years older than I am. I believe she's 60 and I'm 45. And I was like, dang, look at this skin. This is epic. She was glowing. She looked younger and healthier in her 60s than she had in years. And she said something to me that I'll never forget. She said, vibrant health is true wealth, and I have it back. And I was so deeply grateful to be part of her healing, to watch her come back to her true vibrant self. Like, that's the ultimate gift to me when that works out and does exactly what I was hoping for the client. But here's what I didn't understand at the time. Why did Maria succeed when I failed? Her protocol wasn't simpler than mine. She had just as many practices: tongue scraping, dry brushing, abhyang, the tea rituals, dietary changes, sleep practices. So what was different? Well, Maria was symptomatic. She felt terrible. And the moment she started seeing results, better sleep, calmer gut, less anxiety, she was motivated to keep going because the benefits were immediate. She could feel them. So consistency became easy. But here's the thing. I wasn't symptomatic. I actually felt fine. The mold was there, but I couldn't feel it. And so the protocol felt like such a burden instead of a solution. Last summer, the only symptom I caught that caused me to take action was I started losing a lot of hair. Like, I remember I was in Japan in June and I'm sitting there And like, it was a stressful trip. It wasn't easy for me in Japan because I couldn't eat anything as a vegetarian, gluten-free. But I remember sitting there having a cup of tea, trying to like settle down because we just checked into a hotel. And as I looked around, I saw like hundreds of pieces of my hair around me. I was like, did I use the wrong shampoo? Is it the water here? Like, what is that? And then it happened again in the summer and then again. And I was like, whoa, that's like cancer patient type of situation. Like, what's happening? I know I don't have that. I just had the Prenuvo full body MRI. Highly recommend. It had given me a lot of peace of mind that like of what is actually happening in my body and what is not happening in my body. You guys are all welcome to reach out to me and ask me about it. I'm a huge fan of that thing because I learned so much. Anyways, I digress. I had no other symptom. And by the time the fall hit, I had done all the right things for my hair to stay back on my head. And so the mold protocol wasn't actually moving the needle on any symptom because hair was no longer a symptom. And that's what kind of made it hard to be compliant. But Maria had fewer things on her plate. She had one daughter, who was already an adult. She had a life that had space for all these daily rituals. Versus I had young kids, no nanny to help, a business to run, a book launch in full swing, and I had a schedule that filled every hour. Usually every single hour of my day is booked until the evening. And sometimes the evening is booked until bedtime too. So Maria's protocol was integrated. She attached each practice to something she was already doing. Tongue scraping before brushing her teeth or right after. She was doing dry brushing before her shower. Tea with breakfast. Abhyang before bed. My mold protocol actually required me to stop 4 or 5 times a day and remember what to take. So it wasn't integrated. It was on top of everything else. And that's when I realized intensity is the enemy of consistency. And for women like me, women like you, juggling everything, intensity is almost always the wrong energy. So fast forward to this spring, I went back to my functional medicine doctor in West Palm Beach. She retested me for mold, and the results came back. It was still there, everywhere. She even did huge blood work and was like, this is called the punishment of mold. Would we like it to get worse, or do we want to stop and address this now? And the blood work made it clear. There were projects I was going to have to work on, or this project, the mold project, I was going to have to work on, or the punishment would stack up on me. So she looked at me and she said, Shivani, I need you to take 90 days and prioritize you. And I sat there and I actually felt 2 things at once. First, I felt hope, but then I felt worry. Hope, because 90 days felt manageable. It was a finite window. And it felt like a project with an end date. So I could focus on me, finish the project, and then go back to taking care of everyone else. But I had worry because my life always fills up. My schedule always gets busy. And I know myself. I'm better at taking care of others than I am at choosing me. But I said yes, because I know the punishment of not pausing to handle a health crisis. When you know it's there, it causes more damage over time. And it only gets harder to unwind and undo once it's caused that damage. And here's what I realized in that moment. Choosing me is hard. I didn't even notice it until she said those words. Prioritize you. I've been in this mode since I had kids, and especially since I built a health company to take care of other people. Fusionary formulas exist to serve women who are suffering, women and men, because we have both. And somewhere along the way, I stopped including myself in that care. I think I've always been that way since my 20s, more worried about others than myself. Since I've had kids, of course, feeding my kids. I make office lunches so my coworker eats as healthy as I do. I'm always focused on my clients. Like, how do I help them? Once I take on a client, I'm always worried about them until I know they got the results. Even though I know that's not how I'm supposed to do it. That's how I am on the inside. I worry about them all. But just focusing on me for me, that's actually hard. even though I do so much for my health, I always make sure I'm doing everything for everyone else first, and then I come last. So what she was asking was actually a new practice for me. And so I simplified everything. And this time, I didn't try to do all of it. I actually did what my client Maria did. I integrated the essentials. So tongue scraping, that one I do anyway, first thing in the morning, because it takes 30 seconds. That's like the easiest one that I never forget. But I brought back in meditation and breath work in bed before I even get up, 5 minutes of it. Movement, a walk. I've been walking a ton more this year. Yoga, lifting 2 or 3 times a week, but it's whatever feels good for that day based on how my body feels. Tea time throughout the day is a pretty big addiction of mine. So that one I keep. I have my menopause support tea in the morning because I need that one for mood, adaptogenic support. And in perimenopause, it keeps me much more even keeled and cool, calm, and collected. Then after work, after school, it's unwind tea. Before bed every night, my deep sleep tea. So my tea time is me time kind of holds my whole life together. Then my evening circadian walks. I brought those back in to really release the day and to signal to my body that the work is done and it's time to rest. And then the supplements, the biggest mountain of all. Here's what I just did differently so I could succeed at taking my supplements. I organized one box, one commitment, just this one box. And I actually made it super labeled, super clear. Every supplement has its name on it. And it's actually in the order that I'm supposed to take them. So I made it idiot proof. Pre-breakfast is the first 3. Then with breakfast is the next line. Kind of spills over into with lunch, which takes kind of 2 lines. Then it's like the second dosing of those, they all say 2 times a day, which means take them again in the evening. Then I have my pre-bedtime line at the end. All in one box, simplified. So all I have to do is a couple times a day, open the box and take a couple. Feels simple. Kind of like candy. Just open the candy box and take what's in it. It's not all that unpleasant. It's not all that complicated. Before, I had to remember and pull out a sheet of paper and oh my gosh, it's like cerebella and thymosin and these B vitamins first thing, but then your akkermansia, your probiotic and your who knows what else midday. And then in the evening, obviously I take progesterone, but thyroid support. It was complicated, honestly, to remember to take so many things. And so simplifying it in that box means I just have this one cool box I carry around. And it is still a lot. Vitamin D, B vitamins, iron, iodine, so many others. But because it's in one box, in one system, it became one daily practice. And I don't have to think, I just do this box every day. Just go down your line. And you know what? It's actually working right now. It's working. And my energy levels are finally coming back. I have good energy, this happier energy, this strong energy that I love to have. My sleep quality is very good. I'm sleeping through the night again. I'm waking up rested. I'm doing my sleep cadence well, timing my progesterone and cycling it, doing those good things. My mental clarity is getting better. The fog is lifting. I feel like myself again. After a couple weeks of spring of just being kind of burnt out and having low energy, I'm feeling like myself. I'm doing weekly acupuncture. I go to acupuncture in Delray, and my practitioner is working on my immune health to help me kick out the mold, gut health, lymphatic system, all the good things. She's one of my functional medicine docs, so she knows everything that's going on and everything I should work on, which is really cool. I'm going to weekly yoga. I'm trying to lift 2 or 3 times a week. That's still a work in progress. The class times don't work, but I'm trying. Not because I have to, because it all feels good. And my body is asking for it. My body is saying, please move more. We need to move. We need to process and clear and heal. And that is what consistency over intensity looks like. It's not heroic effort. It's not perfection. It's just the same simple practices every single day. And here's what I learned from Maria and from my own failures in this whole process. A sustainable protocol can have a couple of things in common. Number one, they're integrated into existing habits. Not you adding in 10 new things to your day, but you're just enriching the things you're already doing. And so when it comes to, for example, tongue scraping before you brush your teeth, that's an easy one. Just tie your habit to another one. If you've ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about this. Like, habit stacking on top of another habit is a way to make things much easier and much more successful for you. Then supplements. Take them with the breakfast you're already eating. Tea time. Have it before the bedtime that you're already going to have. I have my deep sleep tea in bed every night as like my final ritual. Number two, people who are successful at these kinds of things have a lower mental load. You don't have to remember what to take when. You should have one system, one box, one ritual, and you just do it. Number three, they produce noticeable results within 2 or 3 weeks. This is critical. If you can't feel something shifting, you're not going to stay motivated. So Maria felt her gut calm. Her sleep was improving. Her anxiety was reducing. And that feedback loop kept her consistent. Number four, they fit inside your real life, not your ideal life, not the life you'll have someday when things calm down, your life right now with the kids, the work, the travel, the chaos. And so if the protocol requires more from you than your life can reliably provide, it will fail, no matter how good it is on paper. And so here's what I want you to do. Before you add any new wellness practice, whether it's something you heard on this podcast, something a practitioner recommended, or something you've been curious about for months, ask yourself one question. Can I do this every day for 90 days? Not perfectly, not heroically, but on a regular Tuesday when the kids are sick, when work is busy, when you're traveling, when life is full. Because if the answer is no, then the approach is wrong for you, regardless of how effective it might be in theory. And if the answer is yes, start today, not Monday, not after the next stressful period passes, which is what I did, because it's not about when you're going to feel more ready. Today is the best day to start. Because there's a compounding effect that starts on your day one. And every day that we wait is a day that the calendar doesn't start and the result doesn't start coming in. Maria didn't transform because she found the perfect protocol. She transformed because she found something simple enough to start and consistent enough to continue. And that is so much of the power of Ayurveda. That's the practice. That's the medicine. But let me go deeper with you into why this works. Because there's an Ayurvedic principle here that explains something that Western medicine is only just beginning to understand.